All right, welcome to another edition of Badger Blitz TV, your rivals.com destination for all things Wisconsin athletics, from the recruiting trail to inside Camp Randall Stadium to on the court at the Kohl Center. I'm Matt Perkins, taking over for Jake Kokorowski, who is now headed to the Wisconsin State Journal. You guys might know me from the Believe in Badger Football podcast that I do with the Hebrew Hammer, Matt Bernstein. But no matter who's in my seat here, we are lucky today to be joined, as always, by the master of Midwest recruiting himself. It is Clint Cosgrove. Clint, great to see you as always, buddy.
Oh man, great to see you too. I like that we have somebody that I'm very familiar with and consider a friend. Carrying this on with me, so I'm excited to keep this going, man.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. We've done a couple podcasts together before, but let's hop right into it, man. I mean, the people have spoken. They want to know what is going on with Wisconsin running back recruiting. They didn't sign a true running back in 2022 cycle. I know Cade Yakimelli is a guy that a lot of people think can play running back, but he was signed as an athlete. We'll see if he's even on the offensive side of the ball. They don't have a guy in tow for 2023 yet. They just offered the in-state guy, Nate White from Rufus King, Milwaukee. And it's a little crazy to me that Wisconsin can't seem to land a notable, running back, a mid to high four-star kind of guy, even after watching Jonathan Taylor break records left and right, even after watching Braylon Allen run roughshod through the Big Ten as a true freshman. I would have guessed that more guys would be interested, but it just doesn't seem to be there. What's your take on the situation, Clint?
Yeah, it's that's been a question for a long time. I mean, we've always Wisconsin's always had successful backs, but none of them were highly recruited. I mean, you have your guys like Michael Bennett and I don't know, Ron Dane was a pretty highly recruited kid. But guys like Anthony Davis that have had success, Terrell Fletcher, going all the way back then, it wasn't always the big time recruit that was, coming in and ending up being the big time running back at Wisconsin. So I don't think, that's too far from the norm. It does surprise me that if a running back wants the ball and they want to run behind a offensive line that's most likely most of them are going to go to the NFL and make it in the NFL. I mean, what better place to go than Wisconsin? Now, there are a couple factors that I think do play into this. One, a lot of kids are looking at their NFL career. And as crazy as that is, at a young age, they're saying, how many hits can I take before I get to the NFL? So, as crazy as it sounds, you would think you'd want the ball as much as possible in order to get to the NFL. Some guys are worried about preserving their bodies for the next level already. And that's just, I think, this new generation of NIL and seeing how running backs are getting taken lower and lower, not getting taken in the first round. They're kind of plug and play guys. So I don't really have an answer as to why, Wisconsin hasn't been able to sign that big time running back. I think when you always have a good running back, in the backfield already, a lot of guys also, on the other hand, look at it as I'm not going to get any carries at the same time, and I want to play right away.
But if you want to play right away, but you want to preserve the amount of carries that you have, that seems kind of antithetical to me. But hey,
it really is,
right? What do I
know?
No,
it really is. But here's the thing: the kids, although they might, not want to kill their shelf life as far as time span, they do want to play early. So they want to get their carries early on, so they can get out of college, get to the NFL as young and fresh as possible. So I really do think that is part of the factor. And really, most of these big time backs, they're coming from Texas, they're coming from Florida, they're coming from California, and they haven't grown up around the Wisconsin program. Whereas if the kid grows up in Wisconsin, a guy like Braylon Edwards, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They get him on campus, they see what it's all about, they understand the tradition. And so that's half the battle right there. Getting a kid on campus, letting them see how the running back is utilized in the game, showing them the culture, not only telling them about it, but showing them about it, showing them a Heisman Trophy. Those are things that make a difference, and it's really hard to get those top tier running backs on campus, especially if they're far away. So the good thing is Wisconsin, whether they get a 5-star or a 3-star, the running backs have been very successful. And I expect that trend to continue, uh, especially if I'm a young running back and maybe Wisconsin is one of 3 Power 5 offers, and I see what they've done with the guys there. That's going to give Wisconsin an edge, in my opinion. So, yeah, I think it's a mix of things. There's not one thing that you can point to. I think the times are changing. You got to get kids on campus, and there's good running backs in the stable already.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that it's really interesting to see the combination of, development's obviously been a big part of the program at every position, but even at the running position, which is sort of the marquee position at the university, if it's not offensive line, but like marquee offensive line is not exactly the same thing as marquee running back play. The one guy that they seem to like at running back in this cycle, that's the new hot name, John McNamara from the publisher here at Badger Blitz, just put in a future cast for Jaquez Keys out of Ironton, Ohio. Now he's listed as an athlete. Apparently the Badgers like him at running back, but I know you think he'd actually be even better served on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, so I mean I love the kid. I love what I've seen on film. I haven't seen him in person. I don't know a ton about him. The pictures I've seen, he is rocked up. He is a big dude. I just like him on defense because the way he plays. He's a physical, hair on fire, high motor, run through the ball carrier, play in space, cover, tackle. He can do it all. His and maybe this is really what Wisconsin likes about him. His constricted space, just his speed within that is incredible. So he's got that burst. He's full speed within a step. My biggest question for him as a running back would probably be: is he a home run threat? That I don't know, but I think the thing that they're very attracted to is his ability to work in constricted space, and if he can get a little hole, he's going to be able to break through it and get some yards. If John putting in the future cast, I don't know if he knows something or if he's just going off a whim. But either way, whether it's defense or offense, I mean, the kid's a heck of a player. He's just got awarded 4 stars. I think he's definitely a take. If he doesn't work out at running back, I can sure as heck guarantee you he'd work out on defense. So, I think that's a great take. And also, as him being, I know they like him at running back, but being an athlete type, maybe he can be a team take, and you can also take another kid. Most likely, that would probably at this point be Nate White, in-state guy. I know JT Smith was a guy that they were high on out of North Carolina. Dylan Edwards is a little scat back out of Kansas. Not what you typically see out of Wisconsin running backs, but I think he could, fill a void. And then Jeremiah Love. I understand that he's got 30 something offers from Alabama on up or on down. But I think with what they've been doing in Missouri, he's a kid that is still in play, probably not out of the question, at least.
Well, you just mentioned Missouri, so I was going to do this last, but I just want to get into it now because the state of Missouri is something that is a state, I should say, that the team seems to have been prioritizing much more of late, right? We saw them go after in the last cycle, pick up Chris Brooks Jr. from who's from St. Louis. They are in the top group right now for Tyler Gant, who again is out of that area as well. They just offered Frederick Moore, a wide receiver out of the St. Louis area. Again, they are starting to hit the Missouri, and especially the St. Louis area, more and more. Last cycle, this cycle, they offered, they were in hard on Shadavian Bradley, who didn't end up going, choosing, I think, North Carolina, but who's also from that area as well. So clearly the Badgers have been making an emphasis on the state of Missouri. Now, I know it's an area that your dad hit really hard when he was coaching at Wisconsin. What do you think about, just sort of, the state of Missouri, the Badgers trying to get inroads back to a place where they had a lot of success with Jamar Fletcher, Scott Starks, Brandon Williams, guys like that?
Yeah, I mean, a ton of success. And part of it is building that pipeline. And Missouri kids, a lot of them are connected, a lot of them are friends. And, it starts with getting one on campus. I mean, uh, the last one that I can really think of is who made a big impact. What would it have been? Brandon Williams?
The last, the no, Moneyball's the last one who.
Oh, Monty. Okay. So it's been a little while. But that door is not closed. Wisconsin is a place for those St. Louis kids. They can get them on campus. It's not far away. Now we have Chris Brooks Jr. already on the team, friends with a lot of the kids. Those guys are all connected. You get them up on campus, and you give yourself a chance. You look at the history, like you spoke of. Uh, those St. Louis kids that have gone to Wisconsin have had a lot of success, not just kind of success, a lot of success. You look at guys like Aaron Gibson, Wendell Bryant. I mean, these are first round draft picks. These are, like Outland Trophy finalists. Scott Starks, you mentioned, started since he was a freshman. Jamar Fletcher, he won the Thorpe Award for best defensive back. Like, Terrell Fletcher, it's every kid from Missouri. It seems like has come up and had success,
Yep.
and if you
Very
can
few
get back
haven't.
at
Very few haven't.
yeah, and if you can get back in that area, and once again get them on campus, get some St. Louis kids in the boat. I just think it's a fantastic strategy. It is not far away, like I said. There is a boatload of talent there. And Missouri is traditionally, it's changed a little bit under Drinkwitz, but Missouri has traditionally been up for grabs. And so I think they're doing the right thing by hitting it hard. And it looks like, I believe Coach Witt is making, quite the impression down there. I've been hearing his name a lot. Just talking to kids, whether it be Illinois or Missouri, Wisconsin is coming up a lot more in those discussions. So, I think we talked about this in the past. I had talked about it in the past on this podcast that I thought that, Illinois and Missouri should be a priority. And it's, in my opinion, they're making it one, and I think it will pay dividends.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, listen, thanks so much for hopping on again with us here today, Clint, talking Midwest recruiting, all things Badgers. We appreciate the insights and info. Where can the people find you?
They can find me at rivals_Clint on Twitter. And you can find me on the Badger Blitz podcast every week with my man Perko now. Yeah, we don't have Rivals Camp Series this weekend. We resume that the following weekend. So we'll have a lot of content from that. I'm sure I'll make it to some sort of event or practice. And I was just out at the Ray Lewis camp the other day at the Spire Institute or Academy or whatever they call it on the border of Pennsylvania, and saw a lot of good kids there as well. And still have content from that coming out. But yeah, I'll be all over the place, and just be on the lookout. I'm active on Twitter, and any other questions that you guys have, please submit them because I'd love to talk about them.
For sure. Well, thanks so much, Clint, and we will see you next time here on Badger Blitz TV.